time. All right. Hi. Hello to anyone watching this in the future. I know some folks are watching this and apparently using my voice to calm down their baby. You do you. Um, yeah, if you're watching this, this is a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays cool tabletop role-playing games. Find them at gauntlet-rpg.com with everything they do, which is a lot. Blogs, forums, podcasts, a monthly zine, and the Hangouts calendar through which all these games are arranged. This is our finale of Beam Saber, which is a game of mecha warfare forged in the dark. And yeah, we've certainly gone through some mecha warfare for sure. Made with my Austin Ramsey. Links down below. All the things I've said, links down below. So let's kind of introduce our players and their characters. I'm gonna start by the reverse order I have on the screen here. Tell me about yourself, pronouns, and your character, and a cool thing they did in the previous session. So start with yourself, Robert.
I'm playing Venus Darrington, the ace. She is now the eldest of her, her house, besides her parents, next in the line to take over the house, because her sister was killed in battle, and she's trying to prove herself worthy of the family name and live up to her sister's standards.
She's doing quite well. That up next, we've got our soldier. Kyle, tell us about yourself and the commanding Aethelbald.
Yes, I am playing, I'm Kyle. My pronouns are he, him, and I am playing Aethelbald Pembroke, the Wandering Wolf. And last session, I told a bunch of civilians to know their place and let all the nobles handle things like the way things ought to be. And, they totally didn't have a point about this shifty character who has joined our faction after terrorizing the next city over. And it was a massive success. Everybody went back to their homes, and gave myself a big pat on the back. And the great chain of being has been maintained. All is good.
Insert relevant peep show sketch here. All right, Chris, up next. Tell us about yourself and your envoy.
Hey, I'm Chris, he, him. I'm playing the envoy, Luce Diamant. He goes by the call sign Moonfellow. He's kind of the tall, long-haired, dandy socialite. And interesting things that have happened so far. Failed horribly at trying to use cutting wit to affect the rival that we were fighting. And yes, most importantly, as Kyle says, I successfully managed to get Aethelbald to pick out and wear a scarf last time during downtime. So Aethelbald is significantly more stylish this session than they were before.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm sure that success counteracts the massive, horrible failure that that ended 2 sessions ago. All right, and last but not least, coming in for this finale just in time for everything to burn. Alex, tell us about yourself and your character.
Hi, I'm Alex Meltzner. Pronouns are he, they. And I'm playing Proxanne Palisade. She goes by Proxy, and her call sign is also Proxy because she thinks fancy call signs are dumb. She's a scout, sort of a sniper build. She formerly the daughter of a minor noble house who got ostracized by her family for reasons I haven't figured out yet, joined the military, got into like a sniper corps, and then deserted and has ended up here. Yeah, happy to be joining to see everything go to shit.
Well, to be honest, it's not your fault. Before I'll ask a few more questions about your characters, so we can build up some connections, because connections are useful in this game. That's how you figure out how much stressful it is to help people. Let's talk about safety first, because it's important to always shout that out. We have our lines and veils. They're the L and V tab on our character keeper. Remind folks, lines are things that shouldn't be crossed, won't show up in the fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but we're not going to concentrate over them. We're just going to like fast forward over them. Oh my god, there's an ant on this table. I can't believe it. All right. And we're also using the X card, which basically means that if we do go into a scene that makes folks uncomfortable for whatever reason, and it could be any reason's fine. We can say they want to X card that either on the screen or in the chat or on the Roll for Your Party link, which I just posted there. I might ask some questions on what elements being X carded, but no one gets the question if it's played. We'll roll back, start over, and try something else. And finally, we have an open door policy. If for whatever reason you need to like step away from the table, whether because there's an emergency you need to attend to, or you're more tired than thought and you need to lie down, or anything improbable like, I don't know, ants all over this table, which I really must take care of. How are there ants? What's happening in the world? Ireland never used to have ants. Any reason, we'll pause the game. We'll take a break, even if you need to go for like 5 minutes. And then, yeah, we'll accommodate yourselves. All right, so a few more questions for Proxy Palisade. That's a familiar surname. Wonder where that came from. Sorry to Chris and Kyle, more references to other mech games that we've had. Is a daughter of a minor house. Is that like a minor noble house? So would they still exist, or would they, in the faction sheet, or would they just not matter enough?
I think they're minor enough to not have any actual like significance. Like really minor. Still trying to hold on to like their idea of, we are nobles and we are higher status. And yeah, she's a descendant of Veranda Palisade because that felt like very good anime bullshit.
Yeah, no, carry that to next week as well. Another question. So you've fallen into this squad who kind of works for House Pembroke, who we describe as like the House Clegane to the House Lannister of the Viridian Alliance. So do you have like what are your feelings of like kind of going from some minor noble house to basically being a dog of war for another noble house? How did you feel about that?
Yeah, well, she's not a big fan of nobles in general, but like fighting in a mech is like the only thing that's made her feel alive for the past few years, I guess. And she needs to make a living. So yeah, it's not about any particular loyalty to House Pembroke or the Viridian Alliance even. She's been through a lot.
Yeah, I mean, if it's all about making a living, why did you desert the sniper corps then?
I think she was just too bad at taking orders.
Well, sorry to say, this session is going to open up with some really, really just off orders. So have fun with that.
She may also be a little bit, more tired and jaded at this point and be willing to do whatever as long as it pays.
Oh dear. All right, I see you're already brushing up against some of our other squad members.
Good.
Yeah. All right. So make sure to note everyone else's name on your connections. I think I don't know. We'll just do just during the session if you have time to come up with like a belief about each member. So you got like a bit of a glimpse of them. Venus is like reserved and quiet and professional. Aethelbald is is a lot. He is a quote unquote noble warrior. Yeah, and Luce is a bit of a snake, to use a term from the home country, from Ireland. He's a bit of he's a bit of a snake. He's a diplomat. That's what he does. Yeah. So and also put a tick to each like clock there, because that determines like. I guess for you just to explain to yourself how that works. That's how much stress you expend when you aid someone. And when if you know people better, it's more stressful to help them out. And you build up those clocks during downtime, which let's see if you make it to downtime. Probably not. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, let's open up back to our forward operating base. Which is an occupied town in the desert, because the Viridian Alliance, again, insert peep show sketch here. Yeah, it's getting like a snapshot of what everyone's doing, and I'd say this is probably like a day or two after downtime, after Luce has told this poor medic all about his woes, and Venus has done his sparring thing, and Aethelbald has schmoozed true to the democracy faction, the Lagrange League. I kind of want to get a snapshot of what folks are doing in the space, which I think we describe as a mess of tents, kind of like on the outskirts of this occupied town. And there can be the future tents. Oh, they're just tents. Let's see. I want to see what we see of our new character. Kind of. What do you see, Proxy, who's probably just arrived here very recently?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's. I guess it's a little hard to figure out without more context, but I think she's just sort of. She's just arrived here. She's just sort of looking around, trying to get her bearings. She might be. You said occupied town.
Yeah.
So I think she might be like sitting at a table like outside a coffee shop or something, if this town has those. Just trying to get her bearings and take in the place.
Yeah, you probably got like your orders through like some sort of like digital iPad thing, and you're probably not meant to come in to like to the base for like a few hours or so. Maybe you're just killing time.
Yeah, and looking at like a Google Maps of the city. And
Yeah. What about our envoy, Luce? What do we see of you after the last thing we saw of you is again telling all your fears and woes to that poor medic?
You have to take care of your insecurities somehow. I like the image of Luce schmoozing with some of the kind of middle management above us, but I think Luce is entirely unaware of just how much they're going to push their thumb down on us with this new assignment. But it's like I'm trying to hobnob and get some hints about interesting missions coming up.
Do you want to do a fortune roll to see how much hobnobbing?
Whether I can get any hint of what's happening? Sure.
Yeah. Just roll a d6.
Yeah.
I think it's consort you're doing, and this is gonna be just a fortune roll.
Yeah, it's just a 4.
4. Okay, all right. So you're not getting hints of what you're gonna do, but what you get is like a bunch of folks grumbling that once again House Viridian is kind of pushing people about and just appropriating other squads for doing their dirty work. And the main thing that's annoying folks is that they've gained that. Do you remember that defector? That lovely Miss Ava Kingdom? That even though she has a proven track record of being a liar who's jumped from faction to faction, somehow she's pretty much attained troubleshooter status, much the same as dear old Mars, who you had to chat with. And it's a big enough hunch, and I think what these people say when they look at you is that she's got quite a tall order for your squad coming soon.
Yeah, I'm just like, probably should have expected as much.
Yeah, apparently one of them says that apparently you made an impression on her, Luce. So.
I have that tendency, for better and worse.
All right. Up next, Aethelbald. What do we see of you in the space just before you're called in?
I think I'm talking to my sister, or sorry, it was my aunt, right? Our superior, Arnea Pembroke.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I'm trying to understand, like, why did they bring Kingdom over to our side? Because I just don't get it.
I think again this might be another fortune roll because I'm not sure how much she'd know.
Sure. Okay. Sorry about that.
No worries.
There we go. There are some D6s. For some reason, I forgot them today. Okay. So one D6.
Yep.
Miss.
Oh dear. Yeah, I think she looks terribly tired because every adult I run in every game, in all the games I run, are incredibly tired unless they're evil. She says that the most that she's heard is that she knows things about House Viridian. She's got leverage over them.
Leverage.
Yes. And these are just rumors, dear Aethelbald. But they're extremely seditious rumors. Obviously, there are whispers every now and then. But the fact that these whispers are being stamped on with extreme prejudice, that might mean there's an inkling of truth in them. It seems to be. Oh, go on.
That's all I had to say.
Yeah, I think the last thing she says is that it seems to her that wherever Ava Kingdom goes, she seems to always have leverage over who she's working with. Yeah.
It is the way of merchants to traffic in dishonorable practices like blackmail. We must root her out.
Your aunt just smiled at you. It's like all in due time. First we need to dig. There's no point in trying to root out an unruly plant unless you do it with the maximum of force and the least amount of resistance.
Indeed, a swift killing blow.
Yeah, she just nods at you. Moves on with the rest of her day. Yeah, and Venus, what are you doing?
Taking on some of the advice that I was given last time, I am I'm in the mess hall, I think, for trying to socialize with the other personnel trying to get along and make friends.
Do you wanna? Sorry, I just want to see if this works, and I'm gonna disclaim, decision making. Let's see how you consort with these folk.
Consort.
Why, you were gonna sway them into? Okay, now, how are you getting along with these soldiers? Actually, you tell me. How are you getting along with them?
No, I think I'll roll consort. So that's 2d6.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Taking the lowest.
Okay. Fair enough.
That's a 1.
Yeah, it's awkward. It's so awkward. Like it's hor. Oh my god, it's skin crawling. I don't even want to describe it. It's a sort of like they want to talk about stuff, but you're there. They want to talk about like say, actually, they. What do people know of your sister?
What is it? Top of her class at the academy. Got commendations in our first sortie.
Yeah, I think
all that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think some of these soldiers were not in her class, but in her year as well. Just like was in school when she was there, and she was cock of the walk at that school. And you being here is just, yeah. Some of them can't help but like see their sister in you or not, or just like, yeah, I don't know if it'll ever work out. I'm sorry, Venus. And I think just to save you all from all these social interactions, well, not Proxy, because Proxy's having just a nice cup of coffee. We can see where this goes. That's when, yeah, you all are called in to the command tent, which I think is described as luxurious for a command tent, because you're working for noble houses. There is a carpet, for one thing. There's like just a lot of maps, paper maps, which is weird because this is the future. Does paper exist in the future? I don't know. It doesn't exist in Star Wars, therefore it does exist in this future. Bookshelves and whatnot. Yeah. I think at this point Proxy's probably going to be like going through like processing whatnot, talking to assign a bunk, and it's like, all right, here's your max, you're fine, and then immediately you're called in as well into this, like before you even have a chance to settle, like probably through some sort of like pager device or communications device that you had to sign for. But yeah, all 4 of you are called into this command tent, which trying to remember now. Okay, no. Oh yes, I remember now. There is like there's like an antechamber before this command tent, like a smaller one before you're allowed in. So that's where the 4 of you gather. Yeah, there's a new person. There's someone new who the 3 of you don't recognize.
Should I describe how Proxy looks, or?
Yeah, go ahead if you want to. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, she's wearing like a black jumpsuit, and she's got a I think it's like a very plain gray headscarf covering a shaved head. She's just kind of got a tired look with like a small spark of life somewhere in there. And she's carrying like a bunch of bags, like duffel bags and stuff. And I think she just drops one of them on the floor when she gets in and sits down. Hi.
Well, this is terribly awkward.
Hello.
Hello.
I do not think we have met. I'm Luce. Were
Proxy.
you also? Really rolls off
What
the
is
tongue.
your title?
Proxy.
Aethelbald. It's
Call signs are dumb.
now,
What's yours?
See, I do believe my friend over here meant that more in the social status sense. We've only just met. It feels a little abrupt. But what brings you here?
I got transferred here. What brings you here?
We are about to be briefed on our mission.
Yep, sounds about right.
You're joining mechanized cavalry
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
on assignment. I look over.
Very
at
good, you figured
the other
it out.
two. I look over at the other two, and I'm like, we can always use more blood.
Yes. Proxy, you do not. You remind me of a mercenary, not a noble.
I'm not a noble, not anymore.
I see.
Have you even heard of House Palisade?
Fortune roll. Nope. I have not.
Yeah, exactly.
I see. You bring no honor to our unit, but I do hope that you bring skill in battle.
I sure do. Hope you do too, because certainly not bringing the charm.
Nor are you. Good day. And I head into the briefing room.
God. Yeah. Everyone's gonna follow.
Yeah, I think I just like make some obsequious gesture to Proxy. I'm like, Proxy, let's go see what they want.
Venus there, just the social manipulator, just standing there, making sure all of this happens. All right, cool. So yeah, you're into the briefing room, which I mentioned is carpeted. It's got some bookshelves and whatnot. Probably like a few communications equipment people working in the corners. There's a big round table that's projecting stuff. It's probably like a small projection of the. Actually, what's projecting is like what looks like a map of a canyon, and yeah, behind the table, kind of sitting there looking quite regal as always, Miss Ava Kingdom, who I described as having just long, straight black hair. I have a picture exactly. Her face looks like it's completely like just looks like it's it looks ageless, as I guess what I'm saying. She's kind of sitting there, hand kind of like head on her hand. Yeah, I think it's just Luce who met her, or no, maybe I think you kind of got a glimpse of her when
I think we saw her when we got back to base.
Yes.
Yeah, because I did bring her back to our like operating base for that mission.
Yeah. So she's kind of like her hand on her head. She's fiddling with that clockwork bracelet that she has on, and yeah, her eyes kind of line up when she sees the four of you, and she's like, "Oh, my favorite squad. Come in. Sit down. I've got something. I got something very important for the four of you." And she looks at you, Proxy.
So,
Well, I'm quite acquainted with these other three, but you're And she fiddles with a knob and brings up like up from the table this like fact file. Oh, Palisade. Huh. Well, that rings a bell or two. And then she gestures for the file to go away. Oh, go on. You're muted.
never mind. I thought I had something to say, and then I was like, no, I don't.
Yeah. She moves the file away. It's just like, all right, I'll remember that. And she goes, well, glad to know I can still do some favors for your family. But anyway, Forrest.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, the stories I could tell about your lot. What's your name? Proxan?
Proxy.
However you feel, Proxan. And yeah, she moves the file away, and she brings up the canyon map, and you kind of zoomed in to see that inside the canyon, what looks like a ruined town, with like just burnt out houses and just ruins. There's probably a church there with all the windows are busted, kind of busted. And she says, now I've received something really interesting the past couple of days. And she produces like a regal golden envelope and says, do you remember those lovely folk? What's it called? The Knights of Valentine. Yes, those lovely chivalrous folk. Well, because they're so eager to win valor whatever they can, they've decided to arrange like a small diplomatic gathering at this canyon. They've guaranteed neutral space for it, and they want to hold a tournament of sort to promote competition between their factions, which is that's beautiful. It's egalitarian of them to do so. And I've heard that House Pembroke is quite well used to winning tournaments of the sort, especially with this squad. And her eyes kind of like glide over Aethelbald and Venus. All factions are sending their representatives, so I thought, well, why not? Why not send the cream of the crop of the Viridian Alliance?
Attorney? You wish us to fight an attorney?
Oh, well, you're meant to fight an attorney. My wish is for, well, she reaches down underneath the table and pulls out like a small cube. Well, my wish is for you to bring this.
What is this thing?
All squads come to represent each faction are meant to stake something or the other. It's meant to be something substantial for each person, for each faction, and whoever wins the tourney gets the pot. You'll be staking this, and you're there to ensure that certain people win.
I believe we're supposed to ensure that we win. Is that not correct?
Nope.
You wish us to throw the match?
Let's be honest, and I've heard what they've had to stake. The four of you don't need that. After all, I believe soldiers don't need that much, at least from what folks have told me. Yes, your job is to enter this tourney, stake this, and lose. Graciously or ungraciously, that's up to you. The details, yeah, they're not my forte.
What you suggest is highly dishonorable. Perhaps you do not understand our ways, being a foreigner and a merchant.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought I misunderstood. You see, I thought I knew. Well, tell me this, Mr. Pembroke. What do you think soldiers?
I think I grab her by the neck and I say, "Do not refer to me by that title."
All right then, Aethelbald.
I leave.
I think as Aethelbald leaves, Ava kind of like smooths out her like beard. I'm not going to post a picture of what she looks like, but she smooths out her clothes like, "Oh, I was about to give like this really cool speech about soldiers to him. It's just very improper. That lad."
And whose authority do you ask this of us?
I think she taps another thing and kind of very official looking documents from House Viridian signed off by Mars. You know how it is. It's kind of like, oh, I've got backing.
Who are we supposed to ensure wins?
More tapping, files come out, and you see a profile of a Palladium squad for sure. These are folks that are like mostly clad in green with like gold lining. These are the Princes of Joy. And she says, yeah, the Chantry are sending over their elite knights, princes. God, such outdated titles. So clearly they need all the help they can get to win. And they will. Thanks to the lot of you. And I know, oh god, sorry, say unmute there, Luce.
Luce just kind of like breathes in kind of sharp when she mentions the squad name.
Yeah, I wonder why. You don't happen to know anyone in the Princess of Joy, do you? Yeah, I wonder what the history there is about. And I think she sees the Ava sees like the look and it's like, really, I'm not sure why any of you would have much to complain about this mission. It seems to me terribly simple. Enter, hobnob, have a few laughs, have a few drinks, have a few lovely scuffles at this tournament, just not win, and then come back home. That all seems a perfectly fine day out, don't you think? I mean, if not, I'm sure Mars has more fun jobs for y'all to do.
If I lose this match, it will be because of my own inability, not because I choose to. I leave.
Wow. Well, that was rude.
Perhaps, but they don't owe you anything.
I guess not.
Now, to fix the tournament, that I don't think they are opposed to. The problem becomes asking them to throw their own matches.
I think she kind of leans forward and kind of pushes the cube towards your direction and says, well, if your friends are interested in proving their mettle, and we can let the real professionals do the real work, I wouldn't be opposed to that.
What is that supposed to mean?
Let me ask. I suppose since the two of you are still here, you don't give a damn about proving yourself, honor in what we do.
There are varied ways of looking at the concept of honor.
Yeah, I don't really give a shit about honor.
I look around like, I figured. But, Ava, honor isn't just having an arm wrestling competition and coming out on top. But there are ways of letting them fight their way to the top and still feeling like they've done everything they could. We might be able to make it work. I'm not sure exactly how at the moment, but that hasn't stopped us before. I mean, the obvious way would be to have them join the ranks of the Princes of Joy. And I kind of like suppress a little bit of vomit when I say that. Obvious way would be to have the two stubborn ones just lend power to the squad that we want to win. The challenge there is making it not obvious that we just did that.
I think she smiles and she says, well, I'm glad to know that I've still got a knack for picking the right ones for the job, Mr. Diamant. Let me say that you've certainly left an impression since we last talked. And I like to believe you're someone who can get the job done. Details, well, I'll leave that up to you and your squad. But know that should this mission be successful, well, I'm sure someone like you can rise very far very quickly. And then she turns to look at Proxy as if like, are you okay with witnessing all this?
I'll go get ready, if you don't mind.
Palisades never change. Yeah, she again pans over the cube, and it's like a small bronze cube to you, Luce. And leaves you all up to do your to plan. So before we do this engagement roll, I want to gather information on this, because again, you will start with a -1d because of brass holes. You just met a proper brass hole right there, and also the tactic that she's kind of implied you shall do is the schmoozing, the socializing. She's meant you to do a social tactic. I mean, she already has you you got an invitation anyway. But yeah, if anyone wants to like gather information, figure out stuff, what they want to find out about this tournament, this neutral zone and whatnot.
I think Luce's priorities in preparation will be, one, seeing if he can convince Aethelbald and Venus of some sort of plan here that meets their principles. And two, the other part is, I think we do want to try to get some read on Princes of Joy, try to come up with some like understanding of why we're doing this. Because I think the why will help us troubleshoot on the fly. If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm happy to have the scene with the two of you of like essentially recruiting you for the job, because right now you're kind of not on the job.
Yeah, definitely.
Can Proxy just be there in the background, just like, I don't give a shit. Like,
Well, she might start to give a shit, is the thing.
okay. Wonder why.
She wasn't gonna walk out or anything, but she's not exactly enamored with Ava Kingdom either. Or the idea of helping these princes win.
Yeah, and I think we just like sit down, or maybe back at our base of operations. Just like, I don't blame you for not wanting to throw a fight, but we might be able to get out of it without throwing a fight.
And how is that?
Throwing a fight is the most boring way to fix a tournament. So I understand why it's the first thing that someone comes up with when they ask us to fix a tournament. That said, I see a couple options. One is we do all of the legwork besides the part that actually involves fighting in the tournament and throwing the fight. And I kind of let that sit a little bit of like, no fighting. Or we fight in the tournament for the people that need to win.
The Chantry.
I'm given some
There's
options.
no possible way we can do that.
Why not?
Because we're not on their side.
It's a tournament, not a war.
Nevertheless, it is a matter of honor.
I mean,
These princes, as they style themselves.
sure.
Do you know them?
Somewhat.
And what is your history with them?
One of them has a bit of a long-standing desire to align the interests of the Chantry and the Viridian Alliance.
Ha!
You,
To think we would kneel before their god.
not even that. He's far too pragmatic for things to be happening at that level. There may have been some skirmishes and social situations in which I made things slightly more difficult for this person.
Well, that is all to the good. You are doing your job.
So this person is not your friend, is what you're saying. Would that not make it more difficult for you to get us on their side?
He doesn't know the two of you. We need someone to fight and lead things.
And yet this unit styles themselves as princes. Would they not be
That's your hang-up?
uninterested in some knights errant showing up and joining their cause?
That would be on us to convince them. But you would get to fight full force. You would be styled as a and a bit of an olive branch, to use an old saying, offering an exchange of fighters, perhaps.
I see.
You don't need to lie about who you are, ideally.
So they would fight for the Alliance, and we would fight for the Chantry.
Yes. And you would have to beat their soldiers who came to us. Isn't that what you wanted?
I will think on this.
Do we have to make sure all of them live? The princes?
A good question. I don't know the rules of the tournament.
Yeah, that'd be a good thing to know, huh?
I will admit, I did not think that far ahead.
I would say that was probably something I was going to be looking up, yeah.
Yeah, I think the rules of the tournament should be clear. It's where you're going is kind of like it's a war game sort of situation, I guess. You're not gonna kill each other in this tournament. This is a neutral zone, and the Knights of Valentine are like ensuring they're the ones in charge of security around here, so to speak. Also, you won't know how much security they have. You've only met them once. They seem a bit pompous. But this is very much it's part tournament, part like diplomatic gathering, part show of force. All factions are going to be like showing off to an extent. And yeah, there are stakes. For the Alliance has staked that cube. And also, the Knights of Valentine have staked like an entire like town they control. So those are the kind of stakes. No, I think the Virgin Alliance will probably stake something else. Just that cube is included in it. Probably like a weapon shipment from House Margrave, who just lost a child recently, and it's like it's been brought to heel for the Virgin Alliance, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's a fairly straightforward like tournament brackets and whatnot. I think what you don't know is like which squads are going to be participating, besides the Princess of Joy.
I would like to go talk to Kiahi, our contact, about this cube.
Ooh,
The fiery engineer,
that makes
who I
sense.
believe was a part of. I think she was
She's part of the
from
Lagrange League,
Lagrange League. Yeah.
the Stellar Engineering Corps. So yeah, she'd be way knowledgeable. Okay, so this is, since you are talking to allies and acquaintances, this is a consort. Again, another fortune roll. I'm not gonna make you all this one.
Okay.
Something, but like.
All right. So I still have a 1 consort.
Mhm.
Do I get any bonus because we have positive reputation with them?
Oh yeah. I'd say I'll give you that bonus because
Cool.
she's your contact as well.
Yeah. Nope. 1 and a 2.
Oh shit! I think you probably have this cube scanned, and she's looking through the schema. She's like, all right, okay, I'll check on it. Be back in a bit. And then when she comes back to you, probably like 20 minutes later, she says, Aethelbald, what is this thing? Where did you get this?
I do not know what it is. I came to you in order to learn more of its nature.
Well, that's the ridiculous thing, Aethelbald. This, whatever this is, like, I've scanned through it. I've seen the workings and mechanics of it, but it's, whatever it is, it's one, extremely old, and two, I have no idea what it does or how it works. It's running on logic that isn't logical. It's like, what if like I attach this lever to this glass? All right, Aethelbald? Attach this lever to this glass.
Yes.
Yeah. And if I crank the lever, this glass starts producing bubbles. I can't explain to you how it works. It just does.
That would be quite astounding.
Yeah, but imagine this cube just being able to do that. We don't know what it does or how it works. Aethelbald, what are you doing with this cube? What's happening?
Well, it is a matter of public knowledge that a tourney will be held among the various factions.
Oh, right.
Do
Yeah.
you know of this?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me roll fortune. Okay, yeah, she knows. Yeah. God. Yeah, some of the Stellar Core being forced to refit the well, I guess we should. I mean, so does it mean you're participating in this tourney? I guess you should know then. Your pal Lynn, the Strike Wyverns, they're participating in this. So you'll have some friends there, but are you bringing this cube too?
The cube is a part of the Alliance's stake in the tourney.
So, okay, maybe I shouldn't know this is like Alliance talk, and I don't want to jeopardize anything, but Aethelbald, be very careful. This, if you don't know what this is and your superiors aren't telling you, and I can't figure it out, then there's something they're not telling you. So
that much is certain. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Send my love to everyone else.
Of course.
Come back, all of you.
We will. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Oh God.
And I'll take the cube and head on back. And yeah, we'll see. I have some other ideas about what to do here, but yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you wanna folks wanna gather information on? All right. So you've got a plan. Oh, go on.
Well, I do.
Fair enough. Well, if you got ideas, what you got?
I think I would like to talk to Lynn about this, because I have some ideas about what I might do in the tourney.
Okay.
See if she's open to that.
All right. So this doesn't sound like. So you have what are your ideas actually? So you come into contact with her, and again, she has a phone, and you better not be sitting on your. Are you sitting on your thing? You're sitting on
Of
your thing with a
course.
coat of arms. Of course you are.
Naturally.
It's prominent. All right, and yeah, when Lynn comes back to you again, it's she's holding a phone up, and they can hear the roar of like vehicles as they're packing, and she says, "Hey, Aethelbald, I was expecting to see you soon."
Yes, I am contacting you about that matter.
Well, it looks like next time we'll be seeing won't be over drinks, but in the battlefield. Although I've heard the Knights of Valentine are devils when it comes to catering, so who knows what we might find there.
Yes. Well, things are quite complicated regarding this tourney.
I mean, what do you even think about this entire tournament idea? It seems, I don't know, it seems like the setup for so many different traps to trigger all on each other, don't you think?
Yes, it is not a tourney, but a farce. I expect there will be no honor won on this battlefield.
Ah, know about you and your honor. So, what are you contacting me for? It must be urgent.
It is regarding, yes, an urgent matter. I hesitate to tell you this, but we have spoken before about Ava Kingdom.
Oh yes, that woman.
She is involved and has asked us to throw this match.
Are you going to?
It is unconscionable. I cannot. And I ask that you would face me in battle. I know that your skills are equal to my own. And if you were to defeat me, I could leave the battlefield with honor.
She gives that a bit of a thought. Yeah, I don't think I'll make a roll for this because this seems like a good plan. The thought, and she smiles and she says, "Are you that not confident in your skills against me?"
As I said, you are my equal, and I would not ask if I did not believe it to be so.
Well, that's incredibly flattering coming from you, Wandering Wolf. Very well. We'll test our mettle against each other once more. I'm glad it is in a field where honor is allowed to bloom, at least for a day or two. I would have hated to
Yes.
cross swords with you in war.
We will make something of this sham tourney.
I think she nods like solemnly, and yeah, I think the vehicle's noise comes in, and yeah, she cuts out. All right, so there is a plan of sorts course, the nice thing.
I
thing
feel like I'm pursuing my own agenda here, but okay.
Yeah. Kinda, yeah. You're not told folks about this. All right. So the nice thing is we don't have to plan out every contour. We can just go to the engagement roll. So let's roll that, and then we'll take a break. All right. Let's go to the engagement roll. After the mission is planned, player jumps right into the action, and we catch up to the squad. Oh yeah. What is the let's see? So we got a target objective. What is the tactic? Because Ava Kingdom has recommended basically social. People may have other ideas.
Sorry, where can we find the tactics?
Let's see. It's in page 40 in the PDF, but in the reference sheet.
Yeah, got it.
If I recall correctly, it's in the character.
Oh yes, it's in the. Hold on, what page am I? Yeah, it's also in the character keeper as well. Planning and load. So choose a plan, provide the detail. Yeah. So and gather information as well. So yeah. So which plan there and what's the detail? So she said social. I guess the detail. Oh, gone.
I think we can do social is if I still have buy-in from Aethelbald and Venus to do this diplomatic exchange. The thrust of it can be, or the entry point can be social.
Okay.
Still.
She's not happy about it, but it's more appetizing than the other thing. So
how was Lynn factoring into this?
Yeah, so because I think if I'm going ahead with my plan to fight Lynn, I would definitely fight on the side of the Alliance and I think this is like a gesture of protest against the leadership, right? That like I'm gonna lose and make us look bad to the Alliance. It's not part of Ava's plan, and all of that shit. So I don't know what my approach would be here. I think that's also social, probably. Feels social to me. Because it's sort of dealing at this like symbolic level with what's going on. And there's nothing deceptive about it, really. So, yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
So we'll have some mixture of us fighting for the Alliance and maybe some of us going to help out.
Yeah, totally.
The princes.
And I don't know, Proxy can be like, because it's a canyon, you can just be stationed up like a sniper. I don't know. In
That'd
case
be nice.
Yeah, you don't actually have to fight in case things go sour, you know? Which, like, you're putting 4 or 5 squads from 4 or 5 factions in one canyon, things are bound to happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the engagement role then. It sounds like, yeah, you got a plan, social, different, and the connection is different mixtures of like, some folks are fighting for the princess, some folks are fighting for the alliance. It's all right. Is the mission okay? So first you start with one dice or playing with luck. That dice is taken away because of the entanglement, because you're working for a brass hole. So is the mission bold?
I would probably say yeah on both counts, right? Because going to the Princes of Joy and saying, "Hey, let's swap fighters," is pretty bold. And then what I'm doing, I think, is also pretty bold. So yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Take 1 die. Is the plan? Is the mission especially complex? It's getting there, but the way she said it, it seems simple enough. Stake this thing, lose to the Prince of Joy, so they win this thing, whatever this thing is. So
It's made more complex because two of us are.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to 0. Does the mission exploit the target's vulnerabilities? And
I would maybe argue that I'm exploiting Kendon's desires and vulnerabilities as my rival.
Yeah.
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay, take 1 die. Is the mission's tactic ineffective against the target? Well, no, since you're the target is kind of being attacked by this target, and you were given this target. But yeah, so I'll keep that 1 die. Does the squad receive external support for the mission? I will say right now, you're not. Lady Aranya said that this mission is kind of being run by Ava Kingdom. You're technically under her employ, so no, you're not receiving external support.
Well,
you got
could
Lynn.
could I argue that Lynn is helping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who knows who you might meet there. Yeah, external support. Is anyone interfering with the mission other than the target? I don't think so. Nah. Are there any more factors? Differences in squad tier. Yeah, the Princes of Joy are like, you're a 1 tier and they're 3 tier.
So we get -1D for that.
Yeah.
I think it's fair. So we're at 1 or 2? 1? Yeah, 1. Okay.
1. Yeah. So 1 die for an engagement roll.
Great.
Let's get Alex to roll this.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. That's a 2.
Oh.
That's...
We're in a desperate position.
Yeah.
No.
You wish for this. Who wished for this? For the mission to be in a desperate situation. Chris wished for this. Who's conveniently not here. Not here at the moment. All right, let's take a break while
Chief mastermind behind this plan, Chris, is notably absent after the desperate position has been rolled.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right, let's take a break. 10 minutes, and then good luck. BRB. I'm just gonna start generating some clocks over here. What else? Oh, Proxy, you need to declare your vehicle load. Everyone has to declare their pilot load, but for you, you need to declare your vehicle one. The thing with vehicle load is that it doesn't change unless you spend like a supply point in downtime, which you won't have to worry about that for today, unless somehow this mission is super breezy and you get through it in time. So,
Declared medium.
cool.
And then, I guess I'll also go medium.
All right. Okay, so put in a desperate position. All right. Let's describe first where you're going. So this place is called Ashmark Canyon. Called so because of the suspiciously ashy nature of the sand there. And here's the first thing you notice when you kind of like head over there in your transport ship, wherever that is. Once you like go into like past like the ridges, which as in into like the canyon itself. I imagine kind of like it's kind of like the Grand Canyon except 50 times smaller. It is just like a straight up like gash into the earth, and inside that gash is a dead town. It's a ruined town, and a lot of people. The Knights have set up like a landing zone for the Viridian Alliance, and there's so many people. You'll notice the Knights, they have parked their big ass like airship over the canyon. I should have given that a name. And the Knights are always noticeable because their mechs are like in royal blue with more gold lining. You notice that mech that spoke to your last session, the one with the wings just flying about. I forget if I mentioned if they also have a beam halberd. Can't believe we've allowed beam halberds into this world. Thanks, Kyle. Yeah, so I think the start is just a lot of processing for the moment. Especially given this whole, okay, who's going over to the Princess of Joy?
That is a good question. Venus, you seemed okay with it, and Proxy is okay with absolutely anything, apparently. So,
I think she would rather not actually fight actively for the princes if there's somebody else who is willing to go in her stead.
I figured we would do like a 2-and-2 swap type thing. I mean, I'm less of the battle type, even though I sometimes try. We could convince another of our like hangers on of our squad to do it, and we were maybe going to convince Lynn to join up with them. That was your...
No, I was gonna separately, in my match against Lynn, lose the match. So I'm like just as a way of removing myself from this plan.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes, but I think the complication with the failed was that the princess, you try to give him some talk, but hold on, let me put up another clock here. It's gonna be fun trying to do a rival that's kind of not in a mech, but it's just a diplomat. So you try to convince them to do the 2x2 swap, but Mr. Camden Carlisle over there has kind of said that House Pembroke is suspect. We'll take one, but no more. I think that's a missive you get from the Prince of Joy. So you can swap one squad member of yours to the princess so that they can, ensure they'd win. Well, meanwhile, God, so many plans. So who's going over? Is it like Venus going over to the princess, or?
Yes.
If you want to fight your heart out, it'll be your best bet.
Yeah, so, and I think also one of the things you notice once you go into the canyon, communications tech is a bit scrambled. And I think it's mostly for yourselves and some other squads. I think the Knights are fine. They know what they were doing when setting up this place in Ashmore Canyon. But yeah, there is a lot of canyon particles in this place. So communications tech is a bit harder to get to everyone. Yeah, so there's still some time to calm down. I'm not gonna spell out what the desperate situation is for a bit moment. Well, that's kind of part of it as well. Communications is down. The princes are kind of about this. Your Luce, you probably see your rival Camden there. What does he look like?
He's a diplomat, so he's kind of very. They have a particular uniform garb to them, which is I'm picturing it almost like what lay clergy would wear. So they don't wear the white collar, but they're wearing these black uniforms, and I think they have these the symbol across the upper chest on the left, above the heart of the chantry. And for the Princes of Joy, their additional symbolism is he has this hat that he wears, which kind of has this forward point on it. It's a little ostentatious, but it's what they wear.
It is quite a bit. Yeah, so he is unmistakable. Not maybe the Prince of Joy, but no, you see him everywhere. He's talking to the other squad members, other squads sent over by the other factions. He's talking to the Knights quite a lot. And he's kind of doing your job, but in a way that makes it seem like, oh, he is just here to schmooze for the Princess of Joy. He doesn't have a secret mission that's weighing on him, or does he? Or maybe he's just better at hiding it than you, Luce. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, you'll notice as well the other squads, the factions sent in. Strike Wyverns are there. Their name makes it sound like their mechs look like dragons. I'm not sure, but they're there. Kingdom Enterprises have sent over their private military arm called Blackpool Services. Their mechs look like sleek android robots. Let's just say they look like they don't have any weapons on them, or they could be hiding weapons over them. They look disturbingly. Since this is of the zeitgeist, they're the most Ava looking mechs for sure. Dear old Blackpool Services. The Knights, if to use more mech, the Knights of Valentine to use more mech anime influences, they're the more Escaflowne type of mechs. They look chivalrous. They've got capes. Come on. Do mechs need capes? They kind of do. Well, practicality, I don't know. Sometimes mechs should just have capes. And let's see, in the Princess of Joy, their mechs are probably the more impractical looking ones. Again, green with gold piping. They do look like suits of armor, I guess, but just more. They look like they're shaped to, I don't know. I'm trying to imagine like how can you describe Gothic architecture as mechs? That's kind of how I'm imagining what they look like. That those sort of like lots of like ridiculous buttresses, or the enamel work is just a bit much. Like, come on, this doesn't look practical. What's up with that? And what's the mood of every player character? I just want to know, how are they feeling right now? Let's start with Proxy. How are you feeling?
Proxy, Proxy's danger sense is tinkling a bit. She definitely senses like this is likely to go pear-shaped. So I think she'll be actually like scanning the canyon to figure out a good spot to camp up in advance for when things go pear-shaped.
Ooh. Yeah, that could be a survey. I'll talk to you. Let's get that roll in a minute. I want to see how everyone else is doing. How are you feeling, Luce?
Not as in control as I wanted. Wishing I could just get my hands on Candon a bit and convince him, but might have to make do with what we have. All right. Yeah, and racking my brain for all of the ways that I can push and prod this to make it go the way we want it to.
All right. What about you, Aethelbald? How are you feeling?
Deeply conflicted. Quite pissed off. I think Aethelbald's feeling pretty pissed off. And concerned. Yeah, this is not good. Things are not good.
Yeah. What about our ace, Venus? How are you feeling?
Also conflicted. She's really tense. Sort of like a coiled spring sort of tension. She's got this sort of determination about her, but also like anger and unease, because like she should be fighting for her own side, and she's not.
Yeah, I think when you kind of join up with the princess, they almost kind of ignore you, except for Candon, who is just like, I hope. Well, whatever Luce is planning will soon root it out. And he pats you on the shoulder. Just do what you do best. Okay? Get out of this breathing for the most part.
I intended nothing less.
He there's a small smirk, and he pats you on the other shoulder and let you work on your mech. Okay, so I think the schedule is kind of put up on what the actual fighting is going to be, and you can see that this tournament is very clearly just an excuse for everyone to be here in this canyon, because it's not much. The brackets are, well, the knights are kind of abstaining. They're organized this. They want to be shown that, oh, right, we have the pull to get all these factions together and have a good time for the day. Oh, those poor naive knights. So the brackets are fairly clear. The Strike Wyverns up against their champion versus House Pembroke first. That's the round, and the Princess of Joy up against Blackpool Services for the other one, and then there's a lot of gaps in between each fight, almost as if like, no, you should all mingle, you should all talk to each other while you're here in this canyon. It's a very blunt attempt to like voice some sort of Christmas truce, and I think you can all feel it, like just the cloying sense of like, no, everyone's come here with a plan, with something they want to do. All right, so let's get that survey for Proxy.
Yeah.
Let's see.
That's so it's what? It's like 2 stress to push myself.
Yes.
Okay, I'll yeah. All right, I'll push myself to get a second die.
Okay, cool. So you are in a desperate situation.
This is right. Okay, that's a 5.
All right, cool. All right. So that's good. Let me just. I need to double check. The nice thing they've added to this 4.41 that I didn't have in the previous PDF is a contents page. You know, that's at least they've moved on for that. All right, I just want to make sure get this right. Yeah, I think you can see. Okay, here's the thing. I think how are you surveying? How are you doing this?
I think it's a fairly tedious process of just walking around, getting to like high points, trying to see the place from different angles, see where people and things get concentrated. It takes a little while, and it's not especially interesting cinematically speaking, but it's something she's done a lot.
Yeah, I think you'll find that there is actually there are like some alcoves near the top, because if you go too far up the top of the canyon, there's no point, it's too far away. But there are like 2 or 3 alcoves near the town, and what you notice, the complication is that one of those alcoves is occupied. We can see is occupied by a knight, like knight's presence there. There's a mech there and a bunch of people. The other alcoves are kind of free, but the complication is that there's movement near them, and you can tell they're not going to be free for long. So if you want to situate yourself there, leave the fighting for Aethelbald, and make sure, you get there in position just in case things go bad. You need to do it soon.
Okay, I think I'd actually like to consult with Aethelbald before I make a decision there.
Yeah, okay. Let's see how that goes. We're the best of friends.
We're such buds.
It's just going to work out so well. Okay. Great. Okay. So I think Aethelbald is probably mulling things over in his tent. I think that's where I'd be at the moment.
Hey, I've forgotten your name. Yep. What's your name?
Leave me.
Okay. Listen. Things are gonna go bad here, right?
Yes.
So I could set up shop and be in a good sniping position up in the canyon. But if I'm going to do it, I need to do it now. And I need to know from you, honestly, not as a friend, but as a squad mate, whether you need me you would rather have me fighting with you. on the ground or up there.
Whatever you do for the others is your affair. Do not attack my opponent, Lynn. That is all I ask from you.
I'm just hedging my bets in case this all goes very wrong, is my thinking.
That is understandable. I believe we all have taken our own course of action in this desperate situation.
All right.
Okay.
I will, I'll be up up near the top if you need me. But probably won't be able to get in contact.
Indeed.
Good luck.
The same to you. Now, leave me. I have matters to consider.
I'm already gone.
All right. So, I added a new clock. That's see the two clocks there, Tournament Progress and Camden Carlisle. You'd want to fill that to get rid of those problems. The other one you don't want to fill because it's night security, and you don't want that to fill. But here's the fun thing with rivals: they can inflict consequences whenever they want. For as many numbers there are pilots in this session. So I think when you go off to your mech to get into position, Proxy, you see his big stupid hat as he's kind of talking to some of the knights, just casually, just talking. And I'm gonna add 2 ticks to that night security clock. So I have 3 rival actions left. Let's cut to Luce. What are you doing?
I think I'm trying to set up some stuff in the canyon as backup.
Ooh, what sort of stuff? What's this stuff?
The stuff is
folks, so you can flashback and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's weird because we kind of have this downtime, but I guess it's maybe better if I'm not doing it right now, but it's already been done.
Okay, what is it you're trying to do?
Part of our prep. I would like to place explosives in the canyon.
Okay, all right. That's you're doing that right now. Okay,
I don't know if I'm doing it right now, or I would rather do it as a flashback of like before the knights showed up. Would be best.
Yeah,
it's probably better to not plant these while they're watching.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Can we have coordinated beforehand so I know where the explosives are?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so this is a flashback then.
I'll at least tell. Yeah. So maybe it's the 2 of us setting this up. You seem like the type who would be okay with this.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think Proxy would also know be able to figure out good strategic positions to plant the explosives.
So you can help out with this.
Yeah. Okay, so I think bit complicated. So it's going to cost you 1 stress to get this flashback, and you're still going to have to do an action roll to at least set them up.
Yeah. So I think this is. It might be like a study to figure out where to put them. Since we're flashing, if I was doing it in the moment, I was like, okay, I guess this is a prowl because I'm trying to, kind of secretly. But if we're doing it ahead of time,
I think this would be like
maybe more like a study to make sure we get them in the right spots, like
surveying
the canyon and like finding the exact spot to like cause rock slides and things like that.
Yeah, I think
reasonable.
Yeah, I think okay. This is Ooh. I'd say this is still it's still a bit desperate. You're planting explosives there.
Doing it as does doing it as a flashback make it
As a part of the. Oh, sorry. Say it again.
Since I'm doing it as a flashback instead of in the moment.
No, it says an action roll. So it's still going to be like positioning anyway.
Sure, more that it feels more
desperate.
risky than desperate.
Yeah. I'd say since it's a flashback and it's probably before they got there. It is still it's risky.
Okay.
I don't think it's that limited. No, I think it's risky standard.
Okay. Yeah, so if I could do this with studying to get it in the right spot, and Proxy if you help me out.
One stress to help you out, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I have this connection. Luce is a smooth talker, but he reeks of desperation.
Sounds about right now. Yeah, so I'll mark my placed explosives on my item load.
Oh yeah, you have that.
And
oh man, what if you have to use your king sword?
we'll cross that or if I have to go in disguise to do something. Yeah, and so that's 2 for the study, 1 from the
assist.
Help, from 1 from the assist. That's 3 dice, and do I want to push myself or do I want to go for a devil's bargain?
Ooh. It's up to you.
Do you have ideas for what the devil's bargain might be here? Otherwise, I'll just push myself.
How much stress do you have?
I'm at 4 stress right now, so I could go either way.
Let's see. What's a good devil's bargain here? I mean, the simplest one would be that only you and Proxy would know. Not sure. Folks have any ideas? It'd be fine as well. This is still the part that I'm not good at. It's coming up with devil's bargains.
No, opening that to the table is a good way to come up with interesting bits.
There's always the advance a clock option.
Yeah. When in doubt, advance a clock. Yeah, I think. Look, you might be good at this, but it's tricky enough to do that in this canyon that the knights are like trying to do this thing. So I'll one more tick to that knight security. You can get an extra die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll take that to get 4 dice and save some stress for later. All right.
Let's hope.
4d6.
All this negotiation for all this dice. Holy!
Well, that's a 3. I'm glad I at least negotiated it to risky instead of desperate.
Yeah. Wow.
The dice are not my friends today.
Have they ever been?
I think I rolled a 6 once.
Okay.
This entire mini campaign.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. All right. Here's what's gonna happen. I think when we flash back, you probably planted the explosives, and it's like, all right, okay, that seems good. Cut to back at the camp when All right, here's what's gonna happen. Let's see some of the consequences. First, I'm gonna adjust the clock. Adjust it 2 more times, and had to be something bad happens. Had to be something bad. Okay, what's gonna happen is that I think this occurs as kind of like there's an opening sort of ceremony, as like maybe. Here's what happened. Luce, you're probably, when we come back from this flashback, you're meeting with. There is a diplomatic gathering at this ruined church. Like all the warriors are kind of like, all right, you stay at your camps for the moment. Proxy, you're up at your alcove. Aethelbald, you're still brooding in your tent. Hopefully, you didn't bring that throne with you, but you probably did. Or I don't know, you have, or maybe in this future you have like a collapsible throne that just pops up. I don't know. And Venus, you're probably like also brooding, but you're stuck with these like the Princess of Joy are joyless. They are just like they are tiresome pricks. But Luce, you're at this diplomatic gathering at this ruined church, and you see like your kind of counterparts. There's Camden. Yeah, so there's Camden just with his hat. There is the representative for the strike wyverns. Actually, no, I think they brought someone from the Governor General's office in the Lagrange League, who's wearing this like resplendent, like, actually no, they're not wearing a suit. They look rough. They look rough, but rough and tumble because democracy. Yeah, obviously not, but and the Kingdom Enterprises, they brought someone who looks like they're cosplaying in a military outfit. Like they don't look like they're in the military. They look like they're cosplaying in the military, just like this. The shoulder pauldrons and whatnot. They look like they're play acting. Blackpool services. They're really not trying. And you're meeting with the leader of the Knights of Valentine, who Venus talked to. This woman with like just platinum white hair and just get scars kind of going up to her nose, down to her nose. She's got dark skin and she carries herself with she has a regal posture for sure. And she introduces herself as Lady Uria Lagrelle, head of the Knights of Valentine, and I think it's just a lot of posturing between all the other folks here as you're kind of sitting there loose as your representative of House Viridian as a whole. And while they're talking, suddenly one of the knights kind of walks in and whispers something to Lady Uria's to Lady Uria. She nods at them and says that this meeting will have to be put on hold, if you don't mind. There has been a security breach in this canyon, and, well, all of you are now in for questioning. Don't worry, it's just a few questions. I'm sure this should be sorted out fairly quickly.
What? My apologies. What do you mean by security breach?
Well, since you're so inquisitive, Mr. Diamant, I guess you volunteered yourself first for questioning. And she nods, and two knights kind of like clap their hands over your shoulders.
Oh, no need. I'm perfectly curious to find out more myself.
Yeah, and then they kind of take you to like a small room. It's a room where they keep the confessional booths in this church.
Of course.
Yeah, and you're gonna be kept there for a while. It seems though that like whatever the security breach, it's all just being kept inside this church, because outside, suddenly Aethelbald, you hear calls of like a kind of like a klaxon, and what you've been told is the sounds of like, oh, the tournament's about to begin. and it seems like whatever diplomatic nonsense is happening in the church is being kept there. And I would like to thank you all for just splitting the party up yourselves. I didn't even have to do that. So Aethelbald, you're being asked to like suit up, and like, here we go.
Okay. Let's go.
All right. So you're up against Lynn. What's their mech like?
So I think it's like she fights for the Lagrange League, so I think typically it would be very much like a mass production model. But because she's in like this special forces unit, maybe she has like a I think it's like the standard model, but the standard model is very like customizable. You can like attach modular parts onto it, and so she has like experimental modular parts on there, I think. I think that the Strike Wyverns are also like a cavalry unit, so it's very much like a hard charging kind of mech. What would she have? I don't think she would have like a ridiculous beam saber. I feel like that's not the Lagrange League style. I feel like it's probably something more like autocannon and missiles, that kind of thing.
Nice.
But like you can fire it while you're like boosting forward.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
So I think she would have probably liked to say a few words to you before you start, but again, the canyon particles are messing up communications.
Yeah, so I'll just like give a salute, you know.
Yeah, and her mech does the same. So I think we are just gonna handle this with like maybe just one or two rolls, because again,
yeah,
the point isn't like for you to win; it's how to make this look good, I guess.
Yeah.
How well would you do it?
Right.
All right. So
Okay. So I suppose this would be battle. And I will push myself with Battleborn, expend my special armor to get an extra die without spending any stress. And what's my position and effect here?
Okay. This is probably the thing is the desperate situation has kind of moved on from you. You're in your element. So
Okay.
yeah, I was gonna make it like just the usual risky standard, but because you're fighting against an ally and you have a plan, this actually moves up from risky to controlled.
Okay.
I'm trying to be nice.
Okay. All right. Well, if I bring my fine heavy melee weapon into this matter, could I bump that up to great effect?
See, are you trying to win though? Is my question.
No. Well, I mean, I'm trying to put up a good fight.
Okay, yes.
That's what I would say. So, like, in terms of like, am I battling? Then yes, I am battling for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah. I think. Oh wow, this is definitely a controlled grade.
Okay.
You should be fine. You'll be fine.
3 dice. What could possibly go wrong? Okay, there's a 6.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, we've had like 2 failures, I guess, at engagement roll to put you in a tough spot. Honestly, I'll tell you right now, cards on table, if that engage roll had not been as bad as it was, I wouldn't have put the rival there as soon as possible. But there we go. Okay, cool. So it's a beautiful clash of steel and beams and missiles, but it's like, I guess the feeling probably actually I'll ask Aethelbald, how are you feeling? It feels like for the moment all the subterfuge melts away and it's just you and this warrior you respect so deeply doing what the two of you do best.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?
I think I'm I got that 6, right? So I think I'm feeling like I just put my mind on the fight and enjoy the combat. And I feel relieved, I think, after all this scheming and stress that I've been thinking about. And so I'm feeling it. It's good. And definitely we're like kind of doing sort of like a martial dance of like, I'm trying to get into melee range and she's like jumping out of the way and trying to shoot me and that kind of stuff. Yeah. So it's pretty
Nice.
good.
Yeah. What's the blow that takes you out?
I think it is like I make a charge towards her with my halberd and I go to make like a solid strike across the front of her mech. And she just like boosts behind me and then up and like kicks off the back of my mech and fires like the missile barrage into my back and I get knocked down and that like counts as having lost the fight. Like if you get knocked down, then it's like, okay, well, you would probably be dead in a realistic combat situation. So yeah.
So that blow happens, and Claxon was out. Winner goes to the Lagrange League. Strike Wyverns. There is probably like some stands put up with a bunch of the other like warriors of the other hangers on from the squad. They hear the applause and whatnot. And I think Lynn comes out of the mech.
Mm-hmm.
You probably come out as well.
Yeah. And I think I would like maybe I have like an actual sword that I carry with me on missions. Like it's like a short sword, that kind of thing. And I walk over to her and like give her a bow and like hand my sword over to her. And I say, that was well fought. You beat me honestly. It is all I could have asked for.
I think she nods and gives you a salute. I think there's a part of it that wants to give you a hug, but you're not up for that.
Well, yeah, I guess we're let me see, I'll do a fortune roll. How do I feel about this? How does Aethelbald feel about this? No, he doesn't.
Okay.
Just returns the salute and gives her a nod and heads back to his mech. Like there's probably like mech techs like picking it up off the ground, using cranes or something. But yeah, he's going to depart the battlefield.
There is a person in knight regalia. Well, kind of knight regalia. They're wearing like a dark blue like cloak, and they've got this like kind of like they've seen them around. This girl kind of like has like a ponytail and like a weird mask kind of revealing her face, and she says, "Valiant effort, but it is good. It seems it is good that your faction has been knocked out. For right now, your envoy is under arrest."
Arrest? What is the meaning of this?
We will deal with that matter. Until now, you and your squad are under are detained by the knights for the time being. And she kind of like stands up, bow, gives you a bow, and walks off.
And I think I probably like look over at my mech, and like we get the shot of like my fist bunching up, and Aethelbald's just pissed because like I did all this good fighting and now I have to get back into this bullshit.
All right. Let's get the other mech fight out of the way. Poor Venus. So I think the Princess of Joy are again giving you a bit of a berth, especially their ace, the one that went to represent them. Their name is Gynamede, and they don't look happy about you. But Camden's like, I have it on good authority that this Alliance pilot will do us well. After all, there's been so much needless bloodshed between the Chantry and the Alliance. It gives you a look, Venus. Perhaps you can be a stepping stone for a greater future between the Alliance and the Chantry.
We shall see. I am here to win a battle.
He has a look of pity for you. And then just gives you a nod and kind of like waves you to your mech. Where, yeah, you're up against Blackpool Services, who I think theirs is a strange sort of bio-looking mech. It's kind of black with like segmented arms. It is, I've mentioned, it is kind of Ava Angel-esque looking. But yeah, it's kind of like has a black body with lots of like weird bony metal parts kind of poking out, and this like helmeted sort of face, but it looks like the biomechanical stuff is oozing out of this head. How are you feeling, Venus?
I think she wants to get this over with.
All right, so our ace is just gonna get in, defeat this fool, and get out. Fair enough. What are you rolling with?
I think I am going to roll. I need to remind myself what the bombard means exactly.
That's for long range stuff.
Yeah, so I think like we saw in the last battle she was in, she's just going to point her sword at the enemy mech and try and slice it up with the particle beam that's in that shoots out the tip.
Yeah. All right. Okay. All right. Let me look at the Blackpool Services. What is there? Actually, there shouldn't be two. There should be one. There we go. Okay, you're pretty much on par with them. So again, this is just another risky standard. It's almost like the stuff that's about to happen. This is the least important part. This is again to see how well you do it. I'd say there's a bit of a It's how quickly do you want this to go? I guess this is what this dice is going to determine. What this dice roll?
Like, she doesn't want to win easily, but she does want to. She's disgusted with this whole affair and wants it over with, as quickly as she can.
Fair enough. Yeah. So yeah, you battle. Yeah, this is a risky standard. I think there are more. This mech is kind of like weirdly like you point your sword at it and it's not doing anything. It's just not this feels like the complete opposite of the fight we just had, where it's like that one was between two warriors, giving their all. This is just, it doesn't feel right, but yeah, it's a risky standard battle roll.
That's a 5.
Shit. I should have marked that tournament progress clock. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Let me just okay. Let me just find some stuff. Okay. All right. With a 5, yeah, I think this clock. Sorry, there's a tedious motion to fill up this clock here in this. Or dice. Okay. No, I clicked that. Okay. Okay. All right. So tell me how you attack this thing.
So, I think the beam strike turns out to be a feint. Like, she expects it to do something to block it, and it throws up like some sort of cloud to try and diffuse the beam. But she uses the cover of the cloud to charge forward and get in its space, and lops the disgusting head off.
I think, because of the consequences, yeah, I think you are going to do it. I think that's the weird thing. This Kingdom Enterprises mech, it's almost as it's not trying, is it? It doesn't seem like it's trying. It falls for your feint, and you do it so well that you do it and you defeat the mech, and it is kind of just slumps, power down, and it's so wow, that's so cool. Just Venus just did it. The Princess of Joy, yay! They're up for it. And I think once you kind of get out your mech and you're like, it looks like you've won or whatever. I'm gonna add a tick to that night security clock, and when you come out of your mech, you'll find that there's quite a number of those like servant knights waiting for you, as if to say, "Come with us." I think Venus, you're gonna be taken back to the church. And I think let's cut to Proxy. Proxy, you're well situated at top. You're seeing all this happen, and it's hard to communicate with everyone. It's so hard. But I think you see kind of like the airship, the knight's airship. It's dropping down a bunch of. It's dropping down like a bunch of carrier transports, and you can see like a bunch of mechs in those transports. You can see the other mech in kind of like the alcove opposite you, the knight's one, almost like get into position. You can see like all the other squads, the strike wyverns, they're packing up. Looks like they're about to leave as well, and it looks like just things are heating up when you hear.
I have this idea, and let me know if you're cool with it. But I want to do a flashback, where I have arranged to defect to the strike wyverns.
Wow. Holy crap. You don't even have a hard out today. All right. Okay. Let's take one stress for that, and let's roll a consort.
Is that one
and see.
stress? I think it might be more than one stress.
Okay. All right. Oh yeah, stress. Yeah. Go ahead. 2 stress, and that sounds like a consort. This sounds a bit desperate. But I think you'll have great. Oh, yeah, I think you'll have a great effect on this because again, you already know the strike wyverns. You know Lynn.
Great. Yeah. Okay. I will definitely push myself. I'm not getting aid. I know that.
Wow.
And just let me look over what I got here. I think I probably. So if I use my long range transmitter, could I move that up to extreme effect?
Let's see. Oh wow. You know what? I want to see what happens.
There's this like radio jamming kind of stuff going on, right?
Yeah. Is there even extreme effect in this? Hold on, let me check. You're already at great.
I know, but I gotta get whatever I can, you know.
Like it won't matter if you have like you roll a 2 or I think what you want is more.
Okay, fine, you're right. No, okay, it's 2 dice. I don't trust these dice. Do not trust these dice. Okay. Six.
Oh, okay. Oh, all right. Mark XP for that desperate action. So what does this look like?
I think it is like. I think we get Aethelbald like looking at like the family crest in his tent and thinking about how like the alliance has been utterly compromised by people like Mars and people like definitely Kingdom. Maybe Luce to some degree. And he's just like, thinks to himself, like, this has become a farce. Like, this is, I'm not fighting for anything anymore. My title doesn't mean anything. I'm going to go join up with people I know I can trust instead of this, fighting for this nest of vipers. And I think he uses the long range transmitter to arrange with Lynn for the strike wyverns to intercept him when he is leaving the battlefield after the match.
Yeah.
So I think it's probably like, their special forces people are going to extract me.
Are they taking your mech as well? Your mech.
Yeah, it is my personal property, but you know what? I think I probably have to leave it behind. Unless, like, can we make a fortune roll about that? Because I feel like that's
sure.
Yeah, because like I feel like that's kind of separate from great effect.
Let's roll the tier of the strike wyverns. 2 dice. I'll roll that.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So I think they give you the choice. I rolled a 4. They give you the choice.
Boy.
You have to choose.
You know
now.
what? I think I leave it behind. I think I leave it behind.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we'll come back to you with like oh, you're fucking leaving. Jesus Christ. All right. So go back to Proxy. You'll see the strike wyverns are packing up to leave. Let me roll another fortune roll. Yeah, you can see a familiar figure with them as they leave. Is he going? You don't know if he's going willingly or not. But
I specifically told Proxy not to fire on Lynn. Remember that.
And frankly, Proxy probably likes the strike reference with Lagrange League, right? Probably is likes democracy better than oligarchy, if nothing else.
Are you coming with? Oh my god!
Not a terrible idea. Like,
I would not have invited you.
I've actually made
cut
this
a separate deal.
so
I
bad.
can see that.
Like, I think Proxy's thinking like, was not expecting that, but not a bad idea. Gonna get in on this.
Okay. All right.
I fucking hate the alliance. It sucks.
Oh my god! Okay.
They suck.
All right. Fair enough.
And frankly, I think her respect for Aethelbald is increased seeing him defecting. Yeah. So like, what's the relative position of the are they on a transport ship or remind me what's going on?
Yeah, I think their own transport ship, which has like docks for their mechs. It's about to like lift off. They're just packing in their folks. I think they could. Lynn tells you this, Aethelbald, that they had orders to leave as soon as hostilities are about to commence. And like hostilities are about to commence, because the knights are showing their stuff, and the Blackpool services are kind of like lining up their mechs, and there's a lot of suspicion over what just happened with that fight with Venus and stuff. But like Lynn tells you this, Aethelbald, that their orders was to leave as soon as possible. They were there to just poke the bear and see what happens. They will not be party to whatever is going to happen. But you don't know this, Proxy. This is what Aethelbald is told. But you can see they're about to leave.
Yeah. I think I haven't used any of my load yet, so I'm gonna put in the mobility suite. And like I think I'm going to still wait for like the right moment, but to basically fly up and join them once they've taken off.
Yeah, I think. Oh man, I'm gonna ask. Can we go over just a bit, maybe like 10, 15 minutes, because I still have some stuff. Something's about to fire off. A voice pipes into your cockpit, Proxy. In fact, it pipes in so clear that you're not even sure if it's coming through the comms or it's popping it in your head. And it's a woman's voice going, "A moment of your time, Miss Palisade."
To whom am I speaking?
You're speaking to an enemy of Ava Kingdom. I hope that's good enough for you.
It could be. Not a huge Ava Kingdom fan.
Neither
what do you
are
want?
we. You're in a position to stop one of her schemes. In fact, you're probably in the best position right now.
Yeah.
In a moment or in a few moments, her device is going to activate. It's going to be frank, Miss Palisade, it will cause untold devastation into this place. Devastation that created that would create something like this canyon in the first place. And we need you to destroy that device as soon as it starts to activate. You're perfectly positioned at this spot. You'll see it once everything starts popping off.
Can I rely on being extracted after?
We'll do what we can. Hold on. Let me roll this faction's tier. There they are. 4 dice. So it's a good chance they could just extract you. Hell yeah, they can. You can rely on him, Miss Palisade.
Okay. I'll do it. But again, who actually is this? Is this the Strike Wyverns? Are you guys taking off right now?
No. Strike Wyverns, they're good people. We are decidedly less good. But better than Miss Kingdom, we'd hope. You'll meet us soon enough, but let me just say that it is good for the outsiders to work with a member of your family rather than against a member this time.
I'm sure I'll be asking what the hell that means when this is over.
Yeah, I'll point out they're another squad in the kingdom, either under Kingdom Enterprises, the psychic people, the outsiders. All right, let's cut to the church, to poor Luce, and I think you're put in this like conventional booth area, and Ellen strikes in Uriah I forgot her name. What's in my notes? Uriah Legrel and a bunch of knights. She just looks at you and says, "Oh, when we were hoping to catch our first rat of the day, we completely expected it would be you."
I still don't actually know what you're talking about.
Well, we found your explosives placed
Yep.
all over this canyon.
Yeah.
I do wonder what you hope to achieve with those explosives. But there's
We were fighting war games, were we not?
I assume you meant to worm your way out of this through some use of legalese, some application of words. That is, after all, what you're good at, Mr. Diamant.
I mean, to the extent that I am not beholden to you whatsoever. Yes, you asked me what the deal was with explosives. I will tell you.
I'm sure it's a fascinating tale. Do go ahead.
No, in fact, I don't claim it's fascinating at all. We were participants in the tournament. Roughly as simple as that.
I suppose you expect me to believe that your main ploy of subterfuge in this tournament was to simply get a leg up.
Yes, entirely. What else would we accomplish by planting explosives in canyon walls in order to cause landslides? That's not... It's annoying and destructive to the landscape, but it doesn't cause greater damage. If I wanted to cause issues for the ascendancy or for anything else, I wouldn't plant the explosives in the canyon. Surely.
This is a roll. Oh, I'm so sorry.
This is 100% a sway at this point.
Yeah, this is desperate. I don't know how. This is a bit desperate standard. Oh, why? No, you have harm. Oh dear. Well, you're Desperate limited. That's small.
I have harm.
Push yourself.
Can I argue that we're at all impressive? We won. I can work that into it.
But you don't know that. You've been kept in this church.
I can bring the braggadocio though if I need to.
All right. Okay. Chris, bring on the braggadocio.
Fine. I think I'm just sitting in this dumb little chair that they have me in. I'm just like, it was backup. I didn't even need to pull the trigger. But, I do what I can. I haven't heard anything from the tournament, but knowing House Pembroke and our setup, I think we accomplished what we wanted. We're good. We're good like that. We do exactly what we need and nothing more.
Yeah, all right.
Sure, you know our reputation.
All right, fine. Take that increase effect.
Okay.
Desperate standard. You've got 3 dice.
I have 3 dice, and I'm going to push myself.
Oh, wow.
For 2 stress.
Let's hope. It's not a repeat of what just happened.
Strictly better to roll 4 dice than to not roll the 4 dice.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, that's a 5.
It's a 5. It's a 5.
3 4s and a 5.
5. Ooh. All right. Lady I forget her name.
Legrel.
Yeah, there we go. Lady Legrel kind of gives you this look, as if she's a bit odd by what you're saying, but
you want excuses for whatever it is you're planning. Happy to help you with that.
Whatever it is we're planning, it's not your concern, Mr. Diamant. However, if you're happy, go on.
Apparently it is my concern because you've locked me up in this church.
Well, we see there's no need to keep you locked up. Better to let fellow rats swim about. And I think he just turns and the 3 of them just leave you all alone for the moment. No, they've left you just alone. Then they've left the door open as well.
Yeah, I think at this point I'm just like, well, since you've turned down my assistance offer, I'll be leaving you to your business then. And I make the motion to start heading out.
Don't forget your little prize. And she tosses you the cube.
We did lose, though. But if you're calling off the tournament for whatever plan you have.
Oh, I'm sure it was never our plan in the first place. If you don't make it out of here, send my regards to Ava Kingdom. I think
He seems unregardable.
Only if you're up to her league. At that moment, here's the complication. The cube starts to move You can feel some gears pulsing inside it. I want to see where Venus is. Venus, you're being led towards the church. Unfortunately, you have no friends in the Lagrange League you can easily defect to. What do you do? There's still a few minutes before you're led into the church.
What is the meaning of this? I demand to know what's going on.
One of the servant knights is like, we have reasonable suspicion to believe that the Viridian Alliance has prepared some sort of ploy to spring up at this diplomatic retreat. And you hear Camden's voice, who's materialized next to you, just goes saying, Luce Diamond up to his old tricks. See, he's always so terribly predictable. And he pats his head as if like he knows. So a few feet towards the church. There are 2 knights and 1 Camden around you. I'm just saying this information, just saying.
Okay,
At this point, am I heading out of the church?
If you want to, yeah. But the cube, do you still have the cube?
Yeah. So like, give me a scale on like size.
Okay.
This big, like
yeah.
this big?
Just about
just a little smaller than my face.
Yeah, you can hold it in your hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I am perturbed that it is. I am not terribly surprised, but I'm perturbed that it is happening right now. But I stuff it in my jacket and head out. Slightly hurried.
Yeah, you'll see Venus, the 2 guards, and your lovely friend Camden. And I think you come out just as he's making the tapping gesture.
And I think I briefly make eye contact with Venus, and then I just look at Camden, and I'm like, Camden, what brings you here? I thought this was a knight's thing. We finished talking about things. It appears there was some misunderstanding about some of our tactics for the tournament. You know how I am.
Yes, it's quite rich of you to question my presence here, given your own aptitude for mech warfare. But where the princes go, I go. We were called to represent, and we came and we presented as best we could. Although your little exchange pilot here seemed determined to muddy it up just a bit.
From the cursory glance, it appears he's being detained.
Far be it from me to question the knights. This is their event after all, and we the princes have toed the line as it comes to
obsequiousness is always the best form of diplomacy.
Well, at least at that we're in agreement. It certainly is the easiest way to slip through all these terribly confusing matters. And it appears you're about to slip through once again, Luce.
It appears that the tournament has been called off, so I see no reason to stay any longer. I'm glad that, at least at the point that things were so abruptly stopped, the Chantry has come out ahead. A nice sign of our diplomatic collaboration.
Oh, my dear Diamant. You're always so good at the airs and graces. But you see, and he kind of steps closer so that the hat is over you as well. You see, Luce. Diplomacy is a long game with many moves and many waves made. Whatever game you think you're playing, we're not even using the same board. I'm going to use one of my 3 remaining rival actions to start a new threat clock. The cube of yours, this is me talking, that the cube, you can feel it spinning in your jacket. And he says, now, is that a reality warping heart render device in your pocket? Are you just extremely happy to see me?
You know your presence is always a joy.
Right,
However, unless you are declaring your complete victory in the tournament, there may be other places I need to be. We can always catch up later.
if there is a later for you, Luce, it will be the damnedest miracle. And he pats you on the shoulder and walks away.
Certainly. Oh, and I turn to Venus. Venus, my apologies. Can you handle things here while I step out for briefly? And I think you see like the faintest glimmer of just like complete unease on my face.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone can hear like the airship still kind of like dropping in troops and whatnot, and yeah, I've added a new clock to the board there, the heart render. Yeah. Oh, I need to add a second clock, a countdown clock. Same. They're kind of linked, so it's a bit of a race. Ever clock goes first will determine your survival. This is beyond like just the mission now. I think you probably get in your head, maybe some of you, not Aethelbald because Aethelbald's gone. That yeah, Aethelbald is gone. That maybe you've been set up to die here. Just maybe. Venus, you're gonna be led inside the church. Are you gonna let these two, or what do you do?
Well, everything seems to have gone south at this point, so I am gonna break loose and start. Yeah, I'm gonna try and take out my guards.
Okay. That sounds like. Ooh, what's the action here? Struggling?
Yep, struggle.
All right. So I think because these are just these two, and don't know what direction Luce is going towards. Yeah. I think this is a risky standard, as the mood just ratchets up.
And I can't remember, but I can push to add an extra dice. Is that
Yep.
still a thing? Okay,
Yep.
so
Yep.
this feels like the situation where I need to push. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna borrow one of Lucy's dice for that. Oh, come on! That's a 1,
Wow.
a 1, and a 2.
Wow. All right. So first, I'm gonna add 2 ticks to the countdown. Oh boy. Yeah. So you try to take them down, and oh my gosh. Yeah, no, they're prepared for this. You try to take them down, and they extend out these collapsible like batons and just shock you. And you're gonna take a level 2 harm here. Shocked. Yeah, you might not escape this. I don't know.
Try to resist.
You can try to resist, yes.
Which at this point,
How much stress did I take for pushing again?
You take 2 stress from pushing. You should have no stress because you overindulge.
No. So 2, and then I will roll to resist.
Cool.
That's what is that?
That's prowess, probably.
Okay.
yeah,
so
1d for each attribute.
Roll that. I take 5 stress.
No, you take 1 stress because it's 6 minus
Oh,
your
yeah.
highest.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So yeah. So yeah. You get through. You beat them up. I think you beat them up handily enough. Where do you go once you're done? Where are you off to?
I think I'm like Venus breaks free, and I think I'm just like, to avoid an incident, we need to get to our mechs and to get as far away from here as we can.
The cube pulse.
Or if you have a way of launching something into space, that would also work.
I do.
I wasn't expecting that, but I like that answer.
So I'm going to mark on my mech. I assume that there's some sort of space-faring sort of thing in here.
Dude.
We might be able to cobble something together.
Yeah.
See what
I mean, I could also sacrifice my mech for this.
Oh shit.
That would also work.
And like, isn't Proxy also trying to deal with this cube?
Yeah, I was thinking I was like scanning to try to get eyes on it.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
can
mention.
see us.
Yeah.
Okay,
can
and I
see,
know they have the cube.
Yes. Can you?
Can I?
contact them,
Yeah.
though?
Am I? Well, I was about to ask. Are communications still blocked?
I think you can try to cobble together something. Let's look at your stuff. You're a scout. You can.
Could use long range transmitter or something.
Yeah, you're gonna have to. I think you can try. I think obviously there are probably ways to communicate in this because people have used this place as like war games or whatnot.
Mhm.
But I think you're gonna have to cobble together something for sure.
Okay.
Or actually, hold on. Let me roll your. Actually, do me a fortune roll. 1d because that's your tier.
1d6. That's 4.
It's a 4. Okay. All right. So you'll have a brief 5 minutes to talk to them.
All right.
I say brief. That's probably 5 minutes. Probably a lot in military terms, but you're able to talk to them just this once until the canyon particles gum up your transmitter.
Luce, drop the cube.
Okay. I can do that. Give me 1 ounce more context as I do this, please.
So I can shoot it. Also, maybe get out of the way of the cube so I can shoot it.
2 pieces. I don't mind your idea. Not right here. as I say, as we're running away, because like we're like hustling away from the tent, the church. It's like not by the church. Is that okay?
I mean, do you want to die? Are you okay with dying?
I'm fine with risking a little bit to not cause an incident.
There's going to be an incident if I don't get a chance to shoot this thing before it goes off.
Okay. Do I feel like I have 30 seconds? What's my feel on the risk here? The risk is like if I'm treating this in completely meta terms, but clock looks fine.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a roll to get out of the way because again, the cube is pulsing a bit. That's for you and Venus. I think I'm gonna have to ask separate rolls from each of you.
So what I was going to propose is we do a group action.
Okay. Oh yes, yeah, we could fucking do that. Yes.
Ideally led by Venus because Venus has the least stress, or led by Proxy because Proxy also is low on stress. Just to you can absorb all of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I can just stress out, and that's fine too. I can run.
So-
Whatever.
Yeah. So my thought. Sorry.
Yeah.
My thought was put the cube in my mech, which has I'm going to say it has the fine ability suite.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's my italics one, so I can just have that. No, it's not. So I'll pay the 2 for that, and then I'll pay 1 from mine to have remote vehicle control.
That would be an option. It wouldn't necessarily involve us detonating this. The other idea that I needed about 30 seconds on was to fling this into the canyon where the explosives are, shoot it, and then bury it under the entire canyon. Both would work.
Also, do you know what this thing actually is? Because I'm not
No.
clear on that.
No, not at all. But burying it under the canyon also would work and wouldn't require us to sacrifice your mech. But I could go either way.
I would say that the outsider lady told you, Proxy, to expressly shoot it, just as it's about to like open up. If you shoot it to space, it will still just open up, and hell will be unleashed.
Yeah.
Okay.
TikTok. I need to destroy this thing.
Okay. Proxy, like, while we still have comms, you have visibility to where we set up the explosives in the canyon, right?
Do I?
Yeah, you're in a nice side.
Yeah.
I'll go
Yeah.
where they are.
Yep. Set up, ready to fire.
And you need to fire at it not before it opens up, but as it's opening up.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll know when it is time. Yeah, we got this. Venus, let's run.
I'll try to cover you.
And I think the plan is that we're gonna sprint and try to launch this into the canyon in time for Proxy to.
Okay. So I'm seeing 2 roles here. One is the running and the throwing, and the other is for Proxy to shoot. So maybe one of the 2 of you who is running is going to lead a group action to get this to the canyon, and then Proxy will shoot it. Does that make sense?
Sure, to splitting this up into the 2 pieces instead of it all being. Yeah, so it's like getting it to the canyon,
And then shooting it.
and contingency triggering the explosives.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll keep it to just those 2.
I think my plan is to trigger the explosives after the shot, no matter
Okay.
what.
Yeah.
So that's backup, I guess.
Okay, yeah, that's back up.
Okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right, so let's do the running. Who's leading this action? I assume Venus, since poor Luce is all stressed out.
Yeah, we can go either way.
So running would be Prowl.
Yeah. Moving with grace. Her position.
We could also jump in a mech and maneuver.
Sure. I think maneuver would be better if it was me. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So are the two of you getting on your mechs, or?
That would be a cool image.
Okay. Yes. Fair enough. We are in the service of cool images. Yes. All right. So yeah, let's lead a group action.
Running montage where we're like running down the side of the canyon, leaping into our mechs, and like jumping over the canyon to throw this thing down into it.
Okay. So who's leading this group action then?
I think it's probably me.
Equal.
Right.
Yeah, we're equal on maneuver, so.
Okay. Yeah. Let's roll 2d6 for the both of you.
Can I push myself in a group action?
Can you?
I can't remember for the life of me.
Yeah, it just says like rolls using the same action. It just doesn't say you can push or not. Oh dear.
Well, I rolled a 2 and a 2.
You direct a group of pilots to overcome an obstacle. Every pilot uses the same action, use single best result for everyone. So I think I can. Yeah. I'm just making an action roll and then we combine our action rolls.
Yeah.
So I will push myself to get 3 dice.
Okay. How much stress are you on?
I am at 1 left.
But we're nearly there. We're nearly there.
I'll eat whatever consequences happen. It's fine. That's a 5.
Okay, cool. So the leader is going to exhaust a quirk for for each participant that rolled 1 3 is their best result. Yeah, a leader can exhaust the quirk. But yeah, so these 2 mechs you just barely managed to throw the cube into the canyon when it starts to like split open, and I think the crack of it, there's a wave of energy, and whoever's mech is the closest, I'll say it's Venus, it's the wave is just gonna smash against your mech and you're gonna take a level 1 damage.
Just like spin out of control as we're leaping over this canyon.
Yeah. Yeah, and Proxy, you can see the cube, it's opening up.
All right. I'm gonna shoot it with my fine heavy cannon.
Wow.
That I have.
Fine and heavy. All right. Okay, so that's a great effect, and I think because of what they did, I'd say it's just risky.
Okay.
Thanks. Would be if they rolled worse, it would have been worse. But yeah,
right. I will push myself to get a 3rd die.
Yeah.
And a devil's bargain.
Yeah, you can't take N.
Okay. Oh yeah, it does say
it
that.
Is an and.
I need to check the change log of this game to be sure this sheet was still accurate.
Yeah, what's the devil's bargain?
Okay, since we're near the end, you'll get a glimpse. Poor Proxy's gonna get a glimpse of what this cube is trying to open.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'll accept that. So 4 dice. And then worst case, I have determination. So
You never know.
Two
4 dice.
2 sixes and 2 twos.
Oh, wow. Okay, all right. So, describe you taking this shot.
All right. So I think it's the her mech, the poltergeist. It's tactical cloaking, like sort of fades away, and you see it aiming it down the barrel of just a very large, long gun, improbably long. And there's like a moment when just everything goes into slow motion and then like stops as this thing is opening. And I think the camera basically follows the point of view of the bullet as this thing is slowly opening up, and so we see a glimpse, and like the camera is basically going into this portal that is opening up, and then when it makes contact, like everything goes white.
Nice. And then explosions happen, and
Yeah.
the thing is buried, and oh god, 2 sixes. Holy crap!
That helped a lot.
That helped. That helped a lot. Oh gosh. Okay, so man, why don't we skip over the tedious detail of figuring out how the hell the 3 of you get out of here, and let's just skip forward to the future a bit. And I think probably Luce can tell you like stuff about what Camden said, and like did Ava set this all up to kill everyone here? Maybe, who knows, including the 4 of you.
Kind of gathered, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's cut to like epilogue to see where everyone is. I want to see where Aethelbald is. Where is he gone? What's happened to our dear boy, who kind of looks down on civilians?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's having to go through a pretty serious adjustment with his life. You know, he's probably living in like a very like sort of, you know, like his apartment is probably something like I guess if we're not out on campaign, he probably is in an apartment. It's just like very basic, like IKEA style, like modernist furniture. There's no great emblems. There's no throne. There's no livery everywhere. No luxury. It's just very simple. And I think he is definitely having to adjust to just being another member of a giant bureaucracy. And probably I think he's probably like trying to lean on Lynn for sort of emotional support, but also she's extremely busy. So he can't do that as much as he might have thought. But I think what he ends up doing as a substitute to that is like falling back on his old experiences as a mercenary, and sort of like just kind of going into the city, playing cards with people, getting to know ordinary people, and just sort of like maybe he's like trying to write an article or something about like how the alliance is just a cesspool of corruption. And, I mean, I think it's, you know, it's this kind of like he's no longer Lord Aethelbald. He's just He is just citizen Aethelbald, so it's an adjustment for sure. Yeah.
Well, glad he got out of this fairly fine. Well, I don't know. Should I be glad? Should I be glad? I'm sure. I'm glad. Yeah. God. All right. Let's go with Venus. What do we last to see of you?
I think the last we see of Venus, because this whole ordeal has actually. Before that, is there any consequences like for no, you know what? I'm gonna march right up to Ava Kingdom, and I'm gonna punch her.
Yeah, someone should do that. And I think she kind of tries to save a bit of face, but like after you like punch her, she's trying to do that whole all right, I'll see you in the future, Miss Darrington sort of look. But I don't think you give a shit about that sort of thing.
Yeah. I punch her. I walk away.
All right, that's yeah, that seems appropriate. Let's end with Luce. I can want to end with Luce. Proxy. What's the see of you? Do you take that out from the out of the alliance, right? Or...
Well, I think I think what I'm doing is I'm meeting the outsiders. They said they'd extract me, and I assume that's what happened. So I don't know exactly what that looks like.
Look, they're not as mysterious as the psychic phone call made it seem. They have a ship. They came for you. I don't think you even get a chance to say goodbye to Luce and Venus.
Yeah, I think Proxy will manage.
Yeah, and I think I kind of think it's a cloaking ship as well. And the pilot, then there's a bunch of folk there. They're kind of like wary, but the pilot, who's kind of like this girl with like dark skin and curly brown hair, it's all like she's the one who contacted you, and it just tells you a bit about what they do and how they're involved with Ava Kingdom. She used to be one of them, basically, and how they've signed you up to fight. But I think she makes the point that like we rescued you and we offered you this thing, but there's no we're not going to hold you. If you want to go, we want to go.
I think Proxy says, well, I think my bridges with the Alliance are pretty well burned, and not like I have anywhere better to go. So sure. But like, I mean, she's playing it cool, but like, and someone shot, like she has a fire in her eyes again.
Yeah. Yeah, and you and the outsiders probably do a bit of good. All right, cool. And our lovely envoy Luce. What's the last we see of you?
We see Luce going into one of the tents of the Alliance and hinted in the stuff on the walls and the entryway. You realize that this is Mars's tent. This is his setup. And we see the camera kind of zooms in as Luce is slick talking Mars's guards, his attendants, being like, it's all silent. We can't hear anything they're saying. Lots of hands on shoulders and reassuring words and all of that. And Luce walks past them into Mars's antechambers. And we just see the back of Mars's head. And then we see his head slump. And then we see Luce just walking back out, hands on the shoulders of the guards, laughing, joking. And then we just see Luce's back as he leaves.
God, all right. That seems like a perfectly cynical end to this this entire series. God. All right. Thanks very much, folks. As always, you're fantastic. As always. Thanks for putting up with myself. I'm going to stop this broadcast. If folks want to check out Beam Saber, Gauntlet, all those links down below. I'm making the gangster noises. All right. Have a good night, YouTube.